welcome to the start of a brand new week here on Crafters TV, and what a week we have got planned for you. Starting it off this morning with a special for you, not just myself though, but the lovely Leann is here. Leann, did you have a fabulous weekend?
I had a glorious weekend, thank you, Joe. I did a lot of crochet. I baked a storm. I made brownies and soup and choc chip ice cream. And then I also did a 2-hour live from home last night where we just looked at how to use quick dry ink pads, and I made a card. So we just had a little bit of a craft along. So it's been a packed weekend. What about yourself?
Yeah, lots of assembling flat pack furniture, you know, a lot of nesting this weekend, making like batch cooking foods and all those lovely things. Leann's baking, by the way, was tremendous, in the words of Sarah. We had it this morning. Oh, those chocolate cherry brownies were just so good. I know that we are going to be looking at the Pigment ink pads this morning. Why do you get so excited about these, Leann?
Do you know what? These Pigment ink pads are so versatile, and I think I'm really pleased that I can do this masterclass with you today because I think it's one of the ink pad ranges that you possibly are a little bit nervous of because you wonder what to do with them, so you're going to see what you can do. But for me, it's because of their versatility. There are so many different techniques you can do with these. It's how I started inking years ago. It's magical. And I think you'll see that there are so many different techniques that you're probably seeing all over social media where you're thinking, that's beautiful, I wish I could do that. And you're not actually realising that it's being done with a Pigment ink pad. So having the time to just show you how fabulous they are and why they work so well, I think is going to be amazing.
I can't wait. I haven't seen that much with these, so I'm looking forward to see all these techniques. Maybe you've already got these. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you what your favourite techniques are. Remember, if you want to send us any photos or pictures, it's very easy to do so here at Crafters TV. You need to email studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk. If you've got any pictures of previous projects, I would absolutely love to see them. Talking about getting in touch and letting me know, I am monitoring the comments over on the Crafters TV Facebook page. So if you're on the UK or the US Facebook page feeds, get yourself over to the Crafters TV feed. Make sure you've given us a like as well. And also you'll find us on Instagram, so you see all the backstage goss and sneaky peeks and find out what is happening all week here on Crafters TV. Now, shall we dive right in? Before we do, let me just have a look who is watching, because I can see there are hundreds of you here already. Nicole is watching. Suzette is in Canada. Gwen in California is here, Denise in South Wales, Robbie in Alabama, Cindy is in Missouri. You guys stateside are up bright and early this morning. I love it. It's 3 a.m. In Washington, where Irene is. Good morning, Irene. Tammy is here, as always, from San Diego. I can see Laura is watching in Stamford. Our very own Debbie Fisher is watching too. And Louise says good morning from West Sussex. Keep getting your comments into me. Now, let's have a look at what we've got coming up today in the show. So, what we've got for you, the Harmony Opaque Pigment ink pads. Now, they are absolutely gorgeous. There are so many. There's a couple of different ways of you getting these as well. So we've got 2 different bundles for you. So there's a 13-piece collection. We've put a really great 20% discount on that. And in that collection, it's the first 13 that you're seeing. So you're going to get the jet black, the ocean blue, you've got the parakeet, the oasis, the straw bale, you've also got sandstorm, honeypot, crushed velvet, pale fig, damson wine, pink tulip, fuchsia, and plum jam. £50 if you are in the UK, $60 if you are in the US, and you've got a 20% saving there, which is fantastic. Now, we have got even better value for you, and I know a lot of you will want to jump right in with the comprehensive collection. It's already very, very busy on the comprehensive collection, I'm hearing. It's sort of the, you've got nearly all the ink pads in the range in this collection. What you're going to get, as well as all the colours I just showed you, you're also going to get the plum jam, lagoon, midnight, baby blue, green topaz, pine green, frosty jade, grasshopper, Chinese red, bordeaux, orange, spring meadow, smoked pearl, pumice, friar brown, seal brown, and anthracite. I know that if you collect ink pads, some of you might have been collecting for years to get to a bundle as comprehensive as this one, and you've got it all good to go, and we're giving you a phenomenal deal. We've taken £44.71 off this in the UK. We've knocked £61.55 off of this if you're in the US. So maybe today is a day you're saving almost a third. So very, very busy it's going to be for those. And Leann's going to take us through. I know she's got so many different techniques lined up. Now, you've got all of your lovely ink pads. You might need somewhere to store them all. We have taken care of that for you as well, because we have got the Spectrum Noir ink pad trays for you on a buy one, get one free, which is fantastic. As Sarah would say, I said, you buy one, you get one free. Now these stack beautifully as well if you want to stack them vertically. They cascade, you can actually clip them together side by side, it's completely up to you. But you've got enough to store all of your ink pads. You've actually got 36 spaces within there too. So a great day to get yourself stocked up on those. £16.99, £24.95, you buy one and you get one half price, which is fabulous. Loads of other stuff for you on the website. We've got a blending accessory kit on the website for you as well. There's stamps there on the website too. I'll take you through all of those a little bit later, but I'm going to hand you over to the Queen of the Inks herself. She's here, Leann. I'm so excited to see what you're going to show us this morning, Leann. I know you've got loads and loads of techniques ready, haven't you?
I have got a ridiculous amount of techniques ready, Joe, and I want to take it right back to the beginning, as if you've never seen a pigment ink pad before. What is a pigment ink pad? An opaque pigment ink pad. Well, let me tell you the difference between this and a regular, and your Harmony water reactive, for example. So a Harmony water reactive is an ink that stays wet and you can do all of your watercolouring with it. It's translucent. A pigment ink pad is, and a Harmony water reactive is made with a man-made dye, which means it's liquid and it's translucent. An opaque pigment ink pad is made with natural pigments, which are minerals from nature ground to make colour, and that is why they're opaque. So that means you cannot see through them. It's solid colour, it's not transparent. And it also means that it needs a much more sticky binder to be able to get that pigment to stay in the pad. So with your pigment ink pad, you've got a lovely open sponge. It's very sticky and you've got that natural pigment in there, which means that it won't fade in light as a man-made dye would. So pigments are used usually in fine art. So that's what the difference is there. Now this is sticky, so you can do all of the sticky techniques that you would want to with it, like all of your heat embossing, and we will be doing a lot of that. But firstly, what I want to do is show you what I mean by beautiful opaque colour, and this is about changing something white into something which is completely different, and it allows you to dye your cardstock. So I've got here a piece of Nina. I've got a couple of pieces of repositionable tape here, and I'm just going to lie these down gently on my card, and you'll see why in a second. What I have done is this, and I've took a lot of the sticky off, because even though it's repositionable, there is still quite a bit of sticky on there to keep your dyes still and your metal still when you're putting it through your Gemini. And for this technique, you don't want it to be too sticky. So when you pull it off, make sure you do that just to remove it. I'm going to mask off a small area on this card, and then I'm going to use my daubers. Now, if you haven't got these little daubers, then what you can use is these eggs. This is the perfect consistency and squidginess for applying your pigment ink to your card. So little daubers if you have them, and if you don't, I'm sure we've got the eggs on the show, so you'll be able to get those. There you go. So first things first, what we're going to do is start with the yellow. I'm going to pounce my yellow dauber into here, and then I'm going to pounce it onto my cardstock. And so you can see that I've started with a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just pouncing this on here. Because it's wet and sticky, it starts to dye that cardstock for you. And also because it's wet and sticky, you will be able to blend between other colours. So I'll pick up a new dauber in a second. This is just the yellow one. So what I'm doing is actually dyeing that cardstock so it looks to be a completely different colour to what I started with. So there we go, that's the yellow. Then I'm going to take my orange dauber, and you do want a dauber, a different dauber for every colour. That's really important. I'll daub this down, so I'm going from yellow through to orange. and then I'm going to go through to the red. And I've got an example of that down here for you so you can see why this is really good. Now, if we were trying to do this with Harmony Water Reactive, this is a piece of very smooth cardstock, not watercolour. This is actually a Nina. And your Harmony Water Reactives would grab on this and not move. So if you're wanting to do this kind of ombre effect on different types of smooth cardstock, not watercolour, then your Pigment ink pads are absolutely perfect for this. And you see, now I'm just daubing on the red. And I'm just doing this in the 3 colours. I'll show you how I'm going to get it to blend in a second. We're just getting the colour down for now. So you see I dip it in and then I push it, I pounce it onto the card, which pushes that colour into the fibres of that smooth cardstock, and it dyes it from being a regular white cardstock into this orange, yellow and red. Now to blend, what I would do is take the dauber that has the orange, and then I would just gently, so before I was pouncing a lot, now I'm just gently tickling, so it's just a little bit, can you see there? I haven't put any more ink on it, but now instead of pushing it in, I'm just gently tapping, and that's allowed me to take that orange through down into the yellow in a lovely smooth transition. I would do the same with the red here through to the orange. So instead of dipping it in and pouncing hard, pushing, I just very gently tickle, so I'm just very gently tapping, and that will blend because this ink stays wet for a long time. It's a very sticky, tacky ink, which is great for lots of techniques, as you'll see as we go through this masterclass. And I just tickle it along here, and that takes the transition from the red all the way down into the orange there and gets me that lovely smooth transition between the colours. Now to remove, let me just put my lids on because you know what will happen, I'll get my finger or my elbow into it because I'm a mucky crafter. To remove your repositionable tape, here's my top tip. Don't take it and whip it up like that, like a plaster. You're going to take it and you're going to push it down flat on your card and pull it back just gently, and that'll pull it away and leave your cardstock intact for you. There we go, and you don't want it to rip the surface of your card either. So just pull it back. Make sure you take plenty of sticky off it before you do. You see I'm pulling that parallel with the card, and that's just taking that off. And what that's done is give me a lovely dyed finish to my card. So I've got that beautiful ombre panel on there. There you go. Look how gorgeous that is. Now that's still wet at the moment because it's a very sticky ink. If I just want to keep that nice and flat and dry as these are, so here's an example of where I've done that. Here's another example of where I've done it. See, I've managed to dye a lovely panel of cardstock there. Here's another one where I've done it with 3 different colours and I've just let it dry. You could dry it with a heat gun, and all you've done is managed to dye your smooth cardstock with that lovely opaque, vibrant, solid colour. If you want to make this glossy, because it's wet and it stays wet for a while, you could put your heat embossing powder on here now if you wanted to and have a beautiful glossy panel. And in fact, I can do that if you like. Would you like to see that?
Just while you're doing that, Leann, Cynthia has asked, what cardstock or stocks do you recommend for these inks?
So I would, do you know what? I don't have a recommendation because they work on everything.
Okay.
So you're going to see me use them today on coloured card, on smooth white card, on watercolour card, on black card. You're going to see me use it on vellum, on acetate. There are so many. These are the most versatile ink pad in that there isn't a particular cardstock where I say you have to have that cardstock for these.
Okay.
Where I will say that for Harmony Water Reactive. And I do say that a lot of the time with the quick dry. Whereas with these, it really isn't the case. You can use it on many different types.
Wonderful. We've got the Nina on the show, so if you want to go for that, then absolutely you can. Loads of people saying they love these. Leann, Anne in Reno saying that she loves these. Suzette saying she loves them for heat embossing as well. And Sandy said that she used these with you at Craftaganza.
Yes, I did a whole class on these at Craftaganza, and all of the ladies loved them. And actually, the ink pads went mad at Craftaganza because everyone was like, "Oh, I hadn't realised how versatile they are and how many different things I can do with them." And so it went a little bit crazy at Craftaganza for the pigment ink pads. But it really is all of these different techniques that you can do. So you see there, what I've managed to do is now heat emboss that, and I've got a lovely shiny, there you go, it's just catching the light, look at that, a lovely enameled panel on my card, and it looks like true enameling because the ink stays sticky. And so I've been able to put my clear heat embossing powder on that and get that lovely, lovely panel on there. So that's how easy they are for dyeing colours. Okay, so how does that look if we're using the clear embossing powder and we want to make a different type of topper? So what we're going to do here is take, and these are some of the fabulous stamps that launched at the same time as the ink pads launched. And all of these stamps have been created specifically for pigment techniques. And you'll see that as I'm going through, because these are the ones I'll use all the time. So I'm taking a frame, and I've got my 6x6 stamping panel here. Stamping platform, I beg your pardon. I'm going to pop my frame on there, and then I'm going to get my black pigment ink pad. Where is it down? Come to me, black. Here it is. It can be any colour, it doesn't have to be black. I'm just using this to show you what I'm doing, and then you'll be able to see it very obviously. This could be a nice navy blue, could be a really dark red, really doesn't matter. So that's a nice sticky ink on there, and I'm going to stamp that frame. There we go. Look at the crisp lines as well. So for all these are a pigment ink pad, and actually you might have used pigment ink pads in the past and been disappointed because the lines have been really thick and gloopy. The formulation in these pigment ink pads is proprietary to Crafter's Companion and to Spectrum Noir, which means you can be very confident that the pigment ink you get will give you these beautiful, fine, crisp lines where you're not getting horrible, thick, gloopy images and losing the detail that you would traditionally expect to lose when you're using a pigment ink pad to stamp. So you're seeing that I stamped that, and then I put clear embossing powder on it, and I stamped again. Heated again, I beg your pardon. Sorry, Joel.
That's all right. If you want to grab those stamps, they are on your screen now. £38. It actually gets you 6 different stamp sets, 95 stamps in total. They should be £9.99 and £14.95 individually. So the price on your screen is absolutely fantastic. Keep commenting along. Don't forget, if you've got any projects that you've done with these ink pads, we'd love you to share them with us via email. Send us pics. studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk is where you send those.
Right, so I'm doing another one of these, and it'll become obvious why in a second. So I'm popping my frame, another one on there, and then I'm going to grab a sentiment, and I want to show you why I love these stamping platforms so much. I'm just grabbing a bit of my kitchen towel, so I want to clean that off there. Move that to the side, and because these are lovely and sticky, I don't have to worry about this drying too quickly and not being able to heat emboss it, because it will keep its stickiness for a good amount of time. So I'm going to find a nice little sentiment, and I'm going to use just a note because it's at the bottom there and it's easy to find. Right, so now what I'm going to do, I want to put just a note in the middle of this frame. So what I'm going to do is take my stamp, line it up into the frame, just knock it along so I can see that's where I want it to be. There we go. Then I can put my stamping platform over the top, and I'm lining it up onto a corner there so I can see where I would need to put it in the right place. Pick that up, and now I can ink it, and I'll be able to get my sentiment right in the middle of that frame, no problem at all. So I'm just lots of light tapping. And then I'm using the crosshair again on my platform to line it up with where I had it on the corner of my frame. And because I did that, and because I've got our stamping platform, what I can do now is get my just a note lined up perfectly into the centre of that lovely frame. Okay, just give that a little clean. We'll come back to that in a second. Now what I'm going to do is heat emboss both of these. There's my little frame that was heat embossed before. Look at that, I'm such a mucky crafter. I put it to the side. There we go. So I just use my clear embossing powder in a cereal bowl, as you can see here, with a cereal spoon, and I like a nice wide one, because what that allows me to do is not have to worry about having bits of spare paper lying around and tapping it off and getting it back into the jar. I can worry about that later. I can just get my powder on quickly and enjoy the craft, which is what we're all about at the end of the day. And then I'm going to heat emboss this one. Now what I'm going to be doing next is creating a faux enamelled tile. And when you see this, you're going to be blown away. The texture that you can add to your cards with this, the technique, the real wow impact is phenomenal. So I'm just heating this up again. You see you've got that there. Have that all heated up, a little bit extra there. There we go. So that's all enamelled beautifully now. And then what I'm going to do is take my scissors and cut this out. Now you might wonder why I bothered to heat emboss this bit when I'm going to cut it out. It's because the ink stays really wet and sticky. If I hadn't have embossed that whole frame, when I'm doing this now and when I come to do the next bit, which is blend some ink over the top, what would have happened is that black ink would have smudged all over this little square tile that I want, and it would have looked awful. So to stop that happening, so you can have keep your technique and keep your piece lovely and clean, just heat emboss it all in one go as I've done there, and then cut it out, and it's not going to make a mess. Right, what colours should we use now, Joe? Do you think we should do some pink, some blue, some seafoam? Have you got some, what colour? You tell me a colour you've got over there that you like.
Fuchsia?
Fuchsia.
And
yeah.
Also, how about parakeet or baby blue?
Fuchsia and baby blue, right? I've got both of those.
Lovely.
We can do that. Oh, actually, you know, Joe, you're good. I'm going to let you pick colours more often. Oh, look at you with your baby blue and your fuchsia. Looks gorgeous. Right, so the first thing we want to do is with our baby blue, we're going to pop that in the centre. If I had not have heat embossed this to start, when I now go over the top here, this would have been smudging all over the place because it would have stayed wet. So it's really important to do this little bit of heat emboss first. So I'm daubing again, exactly as I did before, picking up the baby blue on my dauber, and then I'm dabbing over the top. And don't worry about the fact that it's muting out my colour here. You'll see that in a second, how I managed to fix that with a piece of kitchen towel. So I'm just putting the blue colour in the centre. There we go, blue colour in the centre, that lovely baby blue. And then we've got our fuchsia here, so I've got my fuchsia dauber. And I'm going to go around the outside with my fuchsia.
Some questions coming in.
Yeah.
Sandy says she noticed that you're not using the stamping mat. Do we need to with these pigment inks?
Right, so the stamping mat, the purple stamping mat, is not about the ink pad that you're using. It's about the stamps and whether you can get a good impression on a hard surface. So actually you could use your stamping mat with these at all, but it's not the ink that makes a difference, it's the stamp and how big the stamp is. So because these are quite small stamps that I'm working with, I don't really need it. But that's not to say that you couldn't use it if you wanted to. It just depends on whether you're using a big image and you're struggling to get a nice clean impression. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes total sense. Also, Donna's saying, when should you emboss from the back and when should you heat emboss from the front? Is there a sort of rule of thumb?
That is a brilliant question, and you can just please yourself depending on what you want to do. And actually, what I will do for you is explain what happens when you heat from the front, heat from the back. I'll do that actually, I'll demonstrate it. I'll stamp two things and we'll have a look at the difference. Right, awesome. So you'll notice there what I did was I just cleaned off my just a note after I put my ink over the top, so now I can see it again, and I've used those two lovely colours. Now what I'm going to do is ink up my whole panel, and I'm going to do it several times. So I've got embossing powder onto that whole blended background, like I did with the little panel on my card earlier. I've got my heat gun. I need a longer wire on my heat gun. I pulled it out. Oh, see, I yanked it with the wire and I've pulled it out. Bear with while I put it back on, honestly.
Just we'll go through a few comments whilst you're doing that, Leanne.
Thank you.
Jan in Italy, she owns these and loves them. Wendy in Chesterfield says, love these. Melanie in the US has the whole collection as well. And I can see Carol from the High Peak in Derbyshire, she has the full set and loves them too. So there's a lot of love for these in the comment. I'd love to see some of your projects though, if you've been using these. Pop them to our inbox studio at crafterscompanion.co.uk and we'll go and take a look at some of those lovely pictures a little bit later in the show, hopefully. Are you plugged in now, Chivs?
Right, I'm doing it now, so I've found them. I've plugged it back in, I've got it again. Now, while it's still warm, you put another layer of powder straight on, because while the powder's still warm, it remains sticky. So work quickly when it comes to that bit. Do not leave it lying around, because as it dries, it loses its stickiness. So heat it up. When it's melted, it's still sticky, pop another layer of powder on, and then heat that up.
So can you just, this is a question from me now, Leann, can you just keep layering it up, the embossing powder? Will it get to a point where it won't work anymore, or can you just keep going?
So it will get to a point where you can't really make any more difference.
Okay.
I would say that's about 3 to 4 layers. I mean, it's already looking good here, just with 2 layers, but I'm putting this extra layer on top now. So what we're getting is a faux enamel effect. It's like a glossy tile, and it looks really impactful and beautiful. Wait till you actually see the results. So this is the 3rd layer that I'm putting on here. And you'll see that just a note sentiment now is really obvious, where when I daubed over it before and I had the pale blue ink on, you might have thought, oh, you're not going to be able to read that sentiment. But by adding on your extra layers, by cleaning it off with your kitchen towel, and then adding your extra layers of embossing powder on there, it becomes really obvious again. Now, what I want to do is just pick this up and waggle it at you, because what you should look at that. Look at that glossy tile we've been able to create using that, which is truly beautiful, isn't it? I'm going to stick it. I'm going to stick it onto the top of here. So you see, I had the bottom of the frame there, and then if I just put a couple of bits of my glue gel in here, there we go. And I'm not bothering to make finished cards for you in this masterclass. I'm just wanting to show you all of the techniques. Now I can line that up. It matches with the frame underneath because we stamped that twice and we cut the centre out. And then I've got a little card down here with you to show you that. Here we go. Look how beautiful that looks with that lovely faux enamelled glossy tile in the centre. All manageable, all able to be done because of the quality of those pigment ink pads. And then this is what it looks like when you pop it on a little card. Looks gorgeous, doesn't it? And here's another one in a different colour, look. You can see how glorious they look. And really, really shiny. And that's because those ink pads have beautiful, intense, pigmented colour, but are very sticky. And so it keeps it sticky for a long time to allow you to be able to create those effects really, really easily.
Gorgeous, really, really lovely. I always think embossing's like magic. I remember the first time I saw it when I started working in the craft industry. I couldn't believe how effective it was. Now, getting very, very busy on these opaque ink pads, as you would imagine they are. So the best way to get the best value and get the most comprehensive set is to go for the 29-piece collection. I'm going to run you through the colours that are in here. So, big intake of breath. Are you ready? There's a lot here. Jet black, ocean blue, parakeet, oasis, straw bale, sandstorm, honeypot, crushed velvet, pale fig, damson wine, pink tulip, fuchsia, plum jam, lagoon midnight, baby blue, green topaz, pine tree, frosty jade, grasshopper, Chinese red, Bordeaux, orange, spring meadow, smoke pearl, pumice, friar brown, seal brown, and anthracite. Now, not only have you got a super comprehensive collection there, you've also got a great saving. So you're saving £44.71 if you're in the UK. That's what, 40%. And you're saving £61.55 if you are in the US. So it really is a great time to get these. I know a lot of the time maybe you buy them in 1s and 2s because they're at full price. They should be, of course, £4.99 or £6.95 individually at full price. This is us giving you a great opportunity to stock up and have a fantastic comprehensive selection. Now, I want to just give you a visual idea of some of the colours. There are 36 of colours here, and what we've done is we've picked the 29 most popular. So you can see these are 36 colours here. You'll be getting 29 of the most popular ones of these, which is fantastic. So you've got something there literally for every kind of occasion, every kind of card or project that you want to create. Because of course it's not just about card making. This runs through all genres of crafts. All of these techniques are things that you're going to be able to use in so many different crafty disciplines. Now, when you've got all of your gorgeous ink pads, you're going to need somewhere to store them, aren't you? Now, these storage trays are fabulous because they are designed to work with your Spectrum Noir ink pads. Let me just pop them down here and I'll just quickly show you what you've got. So you've got your trays here that you're going to pop your ink pads in. Also, if you've got other brands of ink pads as well, you've got a little square section there, so you could pop your other distress ink pads in there, let's say. You can store them vertically, which is fantastic, so they'll clip together and go against the wall. I think they're really lovely if they are cascaded a little bit as well, so they sort of go backwards, you can see what's in there. You can even double them up lengthways as well and then stack them up like that. So loads of different options of using these. The important thing is they're on a buy one get one free, which you don't see all that often. So $16.99 or $24.95 would normally get you one. However, today you buy one, you get one free. You buy one, you get one free. How fabulous is that? So you've got all of your new ink pads, you've got them all stored beautifully. Now what you need is something to do all of those techniques with. So I know a lot of you will already have all of the sort of hardware that you need to go with it. However, we've put a bundle together should you not. So in here, what you've got is you've got your brayer, you've got your round blending tool with the 10 extra pads, your square blending tool with the 10 extra pads, you've got the craft mat, the fine spray misters, the mini blending sponges, and the mixing palette as well. That is a real comprehensive tool collection for you to go for. £30 if you are in the UK, down from $47.91, $40 in the US, down from $72.55. So again, a really great deal there. Now, don't forget as well, a little bit later in this show, the craft vault will be happening. I have got some amazing deals for you. I have got 9 or 10 products, all with at least a 50% savings. So you're gonna wanna make sure you check that out. The deals are now live on the website, so I can't stop you going and shopping ahead, as I know many of you will be already. We have improved the way that we mark the products on the website for the craft vault as well. So if you go into this special show, you'll find them much more easily now. And if some of you did struggle before, we have listened to you and we have improved that. I'm hearing already that you're shopping ahead for those craft vault products. So do make sure if there's one you want, grab it, because we don't have great stocks. We don't have large stocks of it. Now, I am going to go back to monitoring these comments. If there's anything you want to know, anything you particularly want to see, then do let me know and I'll pop those questions over to Leann whilst she is here. Also, great news is me and Leann are back again tonight. So if any questions that you think about after the show, pop them onto the Crafters TV Facebook page and I can make sure I put them to Leann between shows as well. Now I can see she's like a coiled spring over there, so I'm going to hand you back.
Now, if you've been crafting for a while, you will know that colouring vellum is a flipping nightmare. Not to put too fine a point on it. It's not the easiest of products to get colour to stick on because it's quite, well, it's like acetate. It's got a smooth, finished surface, hasn't it? Watercolour just falls off it. Your Harmony Water Reactive wouldn't work on vellum. And your Quick Dry, tricky on vellum. So, and it just rubs away. Your Pigment, your opaque pigment ink pads are fantastic for custom colouring your vellum if that's what you want to do. And you would do it in exactly the same technique as you just seen me using with the card earlier. You can use your eggs or you can use your dauber and you can just blend. This is a piece of vellum onto a piece of cardstock. You can see that there. You can blend directly onto your vellum. Look how easy and soft this is. So to colour your vellum and get that lovely, lovely, soft colour to it. How simple and easy is this? And look at the opacity of that as well, where you've got that really, it's changing the colour of the vellum from clear to pink. And I'm using that fuchsia that Joe asked me to use earlier because it really does show up very well on here. And you can see that there as I go along. Really, really soft and easy to do. And of course, because vellum is see-through, you get a softer look on the reverse if you want to use it on the reverse and just have a softer look. But you can just keep on blending and you don't need to see me do the whole piece because you can see how beautifully and soft that is there. And what you can do is pick another colour. If we take the baby blue again, and then we just take the baby blue up to that pink, I can start to add some really soft hues. Just be careful. What I would do is tape this down when you're using it because it might just move. And you see I can take the baby blue, gives that lovely cloud look, blending it into the pink there and blending it out, you get a lovely kind of rainbow, ethereal, aurora borealis look if you want to blend more than one colour together. Or you could just keep going with the same colour if you would prefer to with the pink, for example, and then you can keep blending that in. Now once you've done that, if you want to do some techniques over the top of it, what you need to do is leave it to dry, so for all of the tackiness to go away, although that will take a while. Or what you can do is just force it dry with your heat gun. And what you do then is take all of the tackiness out of the ink, and you've just got a piece of beautifully coloured vellum left behind. And colouring vellum is impossible with any other ink pad. You do need your pigment ink to be able to do that. Okay. So you see I'm doing that there. Now then, let's have a look at actually stamping on vellum. We'll put that to one side and we'll come back to that later. Right, so I've got some lovely stamps here. Let's turn this over. And I've got my white pigment ink pad. So there's a white ink pad in this collection, which there isn't in any of the other collections. There isn't one in Harmony Water Reactive, and there isn't one in Quick Dry, because they're both man-made dyes, which are translucent, and that means that white would just be water. It would just be see-through. So you wouldn't be able to get the lovely effect you get. Whereas with a pigment ink pad, because it's opaque and it's sticky, you can have a white ink pad in this collection and it will work. Now, I'm going to stamp this on here, onto my vellum. Got a lovely swirl, and then I'm just going to do that a few different times, and then I'll pick it up. So this is a brilliant demonstration, white on white. You can see all of this at home, can't you? I mean, it's just glorious. You must be thrilled with what you can actually see in front of you right now. I'm sure you trust me, and you know that it's going to look lovely in the end. I hope so anyway. But yes, I'm just stamping up, and you could, vary the stamps you use. I've just got some beautiful swirls, which is in one of those lovely stamp sets that we brought out at the same time as our pigment ink pads, because they work fantastically onto a piece of vellum. Now, I love to do this for wedding cards and for christening cards. Well, just anything that I want to be nice and soft and classy and stylish, to be honest. So I've stamped there in white pigment ink. You might just be able to get a little flash of it. There you go. There you are. You can see it. A little flash of it. There we are. And then I'm going to use my clear embossing powder over the top. And when I put that on, you'll be able to see them more. There we are, you can see them standing out. What I'm not using, because I've left it at home, guys, and so what you would use when you're doing your pigment ink stamping yourself at home is use your anti-static bags just to give your paper and card a little prime, which means that your powder only sticks to the area where the ink is. But I haven't been over-handling these, so it's not too bad. And then when I heat this up,
people commenting along here. Maxine saying she loves the vibrancy. Julie says loving all the new ideas. Also, Julie saying you didn't realise you could do so much with these, which is what seems to be the theme. Anne says she's got all 36 and absolutely loves them. Cindy has got a question for you, Leanne.
Yeah.
How often do we add new colours to ranges? Oh, and that's not just about these ink pads especially, just everything Spectrum Noir. Do we add new colours?
Do you know what? We don't regularly add new colours to Spectrum Noir, because actually when we bring out a range, we bring out the range of colours that we think you need. And so we might bring out a special holiday set or a special Christmas set. We might bring out a couple extra that we need, but honestly, not often at all. Once you've got the collection, you've got the collection. And that is because we just pick the best colours anyway. So look at that. Look how subtle that is onto vellum. That was with a white ink pad and clear embossing. You get that lovely self-patterned look there. Now, I just want to show you that with a coloured ink as well, just so it's more obvious. So I've got my thing here. I'm going to clean that off, because actually what I wanted to do was just explain to you why 36 or 29 colours of pigment ink pad and only clear embossing powder. You get much better value for money. So should we do a nice blue this time, do you think? Have you got a nice blue over there, George? Do you want to pick a colour?
How about
or turquoise?
Oh, yeah, turquoise or midnight. What's that one? Midnight.
Midnight.
Or
you can do a bit
I
of
also do really like the ocean blue as well.
Ocean blue.
I mean, it's spoiled
blue.
for choice. You're getting so many colours.
Yeah, I'm going to do ocean blue. I like ocean blue. Yeah, the colours are gorgeous. So we've got ocean blue. Now, if you love the heat embossed look of sentiments and these backgrounds that I'm doing on vellum and what have you, it can end up being expensive collecting all of the different colours of embossing powder to work with your stamps. And bearing in mind, an embossing powder only does one thing. It embosses. Whereas with your inks, what you're seeing here with all of the techniques that I've got for you is that these inks can be used in so many different techniques, but you only need one pot of embossing powder, which is clear, because all of the inks work with that clear embossing powder and you see the true colour. So actually having your ink pads for all of the different techniques that we've got and one pot of clear powder ends up being much better value for money in terms of being able to use them and get that effect without having to collect pots and pots and pots of embossing powder. Does that make sense, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. LJ saying she should be doing the chores, Leanne, but she can't tear herself away. And she loves clear embossing on things. Robin also saying as well, I never knew you could emboss with pigment ink. All this time, I thought I had to have specific embossing pads.
No, pigment ink is what you need to be doing it with, and then all of these different colours you've got here, using it with your clear embossing powder, and you see here the magic as it starts to melt and we move it along. It becomes more obvious, you can see that there, and you get that lovely glossy effect to it. And actually, because it's clear powder, you get that true ocean blue colour on your vellum, and look how brilliant and how fine the detail is on those little swirly feathers.
Do you know,
because
Leanne,
the quality of our pigment ink is exceptional.
There's a special word for when the embossing powder goes from being a powder to a liquid.
Is there really?
Someone told me about it a long, long time ago and I forgot it. And now I can't remember. Tony from Stamps by Me told me what the word was. And then she couldn't remember the word when I asked her the next time. Do you know, if you know the word, let me know in the comments. I'd love that. I feel like I've been years trying to find this out and never got there.
So there we go. You can see there that lovely blue heat emboss with that feather, with those feathers on that vellum. Absolutely gorgeous, isn't it, that you can work on vellum in that way and that you've got that lovely, lovely colour, and you can build that up. Now, here's an example, just looking at what we've done there, where we had a blended colour for the background, so we can change, and that's nice and dry now, where we can change the colour of our vellum. Impossible before now, we would have to buy colours of vellum. And then where we can do some self-colour stamping or some white stamping or some blue. There we go, you can see that there, stamping over the top of the vellum and a sentiment. How lovely and soft is that? So you can do all of that with your vellum now and it will look glorious when you put it together.
Just beautiful. Really loads and loads of love for this in the comments. A lot of you talking about stocking up now on your embossing folders, which is fantastic. Now, a lot of you are asking as well where these stamps are that Leanne is using in the show today. So we have a really fantastic stamp bundle available for you. And the great thing is these should be on their own individually. These should be $9.99 per set. So it's great to get these all for £38 or $58. Let me show you what you're getting. So this one here is your Floral Fusion. You also are going to get your Essential Sentiments. The next one is Ornate Swirls. You're also getting Summer Garden as well. And then Floral Arrangement. Oh, and one cheeky one in the back there for you. floral sentiments too. So you can get all of those, 95 stamps in total there for £38 or $58. Which is a great saving, saving over £20, you're saving over $30 on those ones. A bit mucky today, all right, let me get these assembled back. There we are, got those in there. Very, very busy, I'm hearing, for the full ink pad collection. There is a smaller collection as well as a 13-piece collection that has a great 20% saving. However, if you want the best value, as always, the best way to get the best value for money is to go for the large collection. That is what every single one of you pretty much is doing. You've got 29 of the most popular colours within there as well that you're going to be able to do a whole host of things with. You've got a great saving on that too. You're saving over £44, over $60 by going for the larger collection. Let me just share with you again as well the blending collection that we've got, and this is all the hardware that you're going to need really to create lots of different fabulous finish techniques. So in here you've got your brayer there, you've got the round and the square blending tools, both with the refills. You've then got the craft mat, the fine spray misters, the mini blending sponges and the mixing palette as well. So a really, really great collection there, saving over 35% on those ones too. I'd love to know in the comments what you are crafting today. What are you working on? What are you making? Because so many of you I know have got a bit of extra time on your hands to do some crafting. So drop into the comments on Facebook. Let me know what you're crafting today. Just a note to say as well that everything is working as it should do. The warehouse are moving orders through exactly as they should be. So it's a great time to place an order. All of our supplier chains are working as normal as well. So we will continue to bring you lots of extra shows whilst we can get all of this lovely product out to you. As I said, drop into the comments, let me know what you're working on today. If you want to add pictures as well, then send those to studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk. I'm also hearing as well that a lot of you are shopping ahead for those craft vault items. So the specific items that you want in the craft vault, definitely shop ahead because some of them are exceptionally low quantity because the savings are so great. Now I can see Leann is ready for her next technique. What I want to know is, Leann, with all these inky techniques, how do you manage to keep your hands so clean?
You use alcohol, and actually in this current day and age, you have a massive pot of hand sanitizer, and then you do that, which is what I do.
But everyone else I see always ends up with really inky fingers, and you never do.
Well, because I've got, and then you do that, and then on your jeans you do that. And it works. That's what I do. I always have big handprints on my jeans. Hand sanitizer keeps the ink off. It's also because, Jo, ever since I've been little, and if my mum's watching, she'll put in the comments and she'll tell you, I've never liked dirty hands, where all the other kids were making mud pies, they were in the garden, they had mud up their face and candlesticks and everything else. I'd be walking around. If I had a little bit of on my hand, I'd be like that. Which meant wash my hands, Mum. So I'm not good at having mucky hands anyway. So I do that with my ink pads. I have been known to craft with latex gloves at home. So there we go. But I don't think it would look very good if I had latex gloves on here, would it? But hand sanitizer I use all the time, even when we're not in the current status that we are at the minute, because it does actually get all of the ink off your hands. But maybe it's not the back of your jeans. Have a little towel to the side. I just wanted to show you, I've got a piece of acetate here, and then I've got this lovely, those Essential Sentiment stamps are amazing. So a little bit of extra ink on there, I can see I haven't quite got enough down the bottom. So lots of light tapping, and those Essential Sentiments are lovely, big, bold, impressive sentiments that you've got on there. And if I push that down onto my acetate, look how fabulous that looks on the acetate. I mean, being able to stamp that crisply on acetate would be practically impossible with that intensity of colour on there. It's phenomenal. And then, of course, what we can do is use our clear embossing powder again. Make sure you use heat-resistant acetate for this. So that's a special heat-resistant crafting acetate, or the stuff that you put through a laser printer or a photocopier. That would do the job too. And then we just heat it.
And do you actually need to have special stamps to use these ink pads, or is it all of your stamps that you already have in your stash, Leann?
Every stamp you've got in your stash.
Wonderful.
These ink pads are not stampist. at all. Look at that. Look at how fabulous that looks. It looks enamelled. We've got a lovely sentiment on that acetate there. Imagine putting that in a lovely an acetate window on a card, just using it as an overlay with some brads in the corner. Really, really lovely. I wanted to show you that very quickly. Now, the next thing I want to show you, Jo, is how to create an enamelled sentiment. So I've got one of these, I love these really ornate sentiments that we've got. I just think they're glorious. Oh, sticking my head in the way there. Sorry, I did it again. Honestly. How long? Have we just been here about 20 minutes, Jo? Have we been here?
No, 50
No
minutes
way.
we've been here already.
My word.
Loads of you let me know what you're working on as well. Rochelle is doing some flower forming today, lovely. Jeffrey just finished all of his Easter cards as well. Jan, she's been doing a bit of foil pressing today, so love that you're all keeping yourself busy. Remember, if you do want to send us pictures, you can do that, studio@craftscompanion.co.uk. So someone else has just asked as well, the name escapes me, I'm sorry. Can you use these inks to colour up your flower forming foam, Leanne?
You can.
Okay,
yes,
wonderful.
It works brilliant on your flower forming foam.
You know, it's easier if you say it in a Scouse accent. I've found out. Flower forming foam. See, if you say it with a Liverpool accent, makes it much easier. Rolls off the tongue.
I don't know if I can do that accent. Should I try?
Yeah.
Flower forming foam.
That's pretty good.
Was that all right? I don't know. Maybe I'll just go with my regular flower forming foam. There we go. Maybe if you try and enunciate and be posh rather than just in your own accent. Right, so I'm just putting this fabulous sentiment through my mini, and I've just cut it onto a regular piece of white cardstock. And then I'm going to take it out. So there we go. We've got the thinking of you sentiment. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Let me put that to one side. Right, Jo. Colour selection again. That's your job today. What colour would you like the sentiment,
Can we
Jo?
go a bit... shall we go?
Yeah.
Should we go quite striking with this one?
Yeah.
How about Chinese red?
Ooh.
And also...
Oh, we're having more than one colour. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, can we have more than one colour?
Yeah, you know what I like, Pet.
And pale fig.
No.
No?
That's going to look...
Exactly. All right. How about Chinese red and spring meadow?
No. You're going to get brown, Pet.
Oh, okay. Brown.
Red and green brown.
How about honey pot?
Honey pot.
Yeah.
Honey pot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Red and yellow. That would be
Third
like
time
lovely,
lucky.
Yeah. Be like a nice sunset. I mean, I could have done the other one, but it would have looked pants. But, you know, we're learning about colours as well while we're here today, aren't we? We're learning about colours. Right, so what I'm doing now is I am pouncing again just over the top of my sentiment with that, with a piece of scrap card underneath, okay? So just make sure you've got a piece of something you don't need underneath and pounce your colour on. And you notice what I'm doing is I'm picking the colour up and I'm giving it a good old squidge in. And if you haven't got these daubers, then the eggs, which I've got here, are the other good thing to use. And you see, actually, with the eggs, if you're doing quite a big project like this, you get a broader coverage more quickly. So it's more efficient than the little daubers. It just depends what you want to do. So I've coloured that in, and again, just as long as it's on your scrap paper. Okay, so once we've done that, we'll move those out of the way. Actually, I could have been more careful and used that. Look at what you're thinking of you. It was like a little stencil, wasn't it? That would have looked lovely. And then I'm going to use my clear embossing powder again. And I'm just putting it all over. Not worrying about my fingers because it'll just all fall off my hands. Getting that all over the sentiment here. And then with your tweezers, here's my tweezers here. I like to just get it from a very small area. Oh, not too much. There we are. Oh, dear me, all fingers and thumbs. There we are. Give it a little shake. We'll pop that down there. Lovely. And because I just got a hold of it in the small corner, I'm going to move that to the side so you can see it here, because there we are. So it's getting messy over there, wasn't it? Move that over because I want my heat guns on a short lead today. Bit like me. They keep me on a short lead sometimes because I go rogue with my demos. Right, so I've inked those up and then I've put the heat embossing powder on it, Jo. We've seen that, didn't
Wonderful. Can we use this on, I know different coloured cardstock is a question that we're getting a lot. Will it go on to things to other colours?
Yes, and I'm going to show you that.
Okay.
I've got some different coloured cardstock here, and one of the next things I'm going to show you is a technique for doing exactly that.
Wonderful. Kerry is locking herself away in her craft room all day today. She had a stressful morning moving a holiday, she said, so she's ready to craft for the rest of the day. And also Helena has asked where my accent is from. It's an Essex, it's a watered down Essex accent. I know what you're thinking, don't shut up. But no, it is an Essex accent.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
I always thought you had a really posh accent. Can you see the shine on it?
Beautiful.
I'm hoping you can. Look at the colour choices on there, Joe. You were amazing picking those colours. Look at
that was like the equivalent of going bowling and having the sides up, you guiding me through which colour choice I was going to take.
Now, I'm hoping with my waggling this at you that you could see how enamelled and beautiful that sentiment is. Can you see it? Can you see the shine on it? And really, and Joe, I'm going to leave this over here for you to grab from my 2 metres away.
Okay.
So you can have a look at this, because you're not going to believe it till you get it in your own hands and have a little look-see. It truly is beautiful. Right, there we go. Well done.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Isn't it?
Do you know what it looks like? It looks like a resin, almost like a resin piece. You know, you get resin elements.
Doesn't it look like you've paid a fortune for a ready done enamelled, like you say, like a resin sentiment that you would pay a fortune for.
Let me see if I can get it on this
I think if you
close-up
can
for
get that. Oh, see, there we go. You need the professional on the camera.
Look at that.
Look at that. How gorgeous is that?
Do you know what this sentiment reminds me a little bit of as well? You know the font from The Lion King?
Yes.
Get rid of thing. Look. See, look. It
Yeah,
reminds
it
me of
does.
that. It's gorgeous.
Doesn't that look amazing? I'm
really lovely.
I'm so happy you've been able to show everybody
think about
that.
what else could you do that with then? Pretty much any die cut
anything.
element, I'm guessing.
Any die cut element you like. So any swirl, any sentiment, any flower, anything you like, you can ink up with these and put that enamel on there, and it's going to look amazing. And here's just a couple of cards where we've done that. You can see that there, where we've got that lovely thanks. There you go. And you've got that lovely shine on it and the celebrate in the centre. So you're making your own embellishments now that you would pay a fortune for in the shops, which is why I think these ink pads are the most versatile and the best value for money in terms of different amount of techniques, bang for your buck, all the different things you can do with these ink pads, and the colours are immense.
Oh, just wonderful. And I guess, as you were saying as well, you could have used the waste there as well. There's a couple of you saying that you love the negative as much as you do the actual design itself. Daniela is saying, do you always have to heat emboss, Leanne, or will these just dry naturally if you leave them as is?
So you don't always have to heat emboss. When we did that first, so let me just bring these little couple of samples in for you again. Here we go. Remember when we did these earlier with that masked panel? Oh, I'll turn them around so you can see them properly here. When we did them with a masked panel, before I added the heat embossing powder to it, you just get this lovely matte, but very deep. You can't achieve this level of intensity of colour with your Harmony Water Reactive because they're just two different ink pads with two different ways of working. To dye your cardstock and get that lovely, deep, opaque, vibrant colour, you need your pigment ink pad. But here, these have either just been left to dry naturally or dried with your heat gun. It just gets rid of the sticky, the binder that holds the pigment and carries the colour and keeps it wet for you when you're doing all of your technique. It just dries that away. So these have not been heat embossed, these three here. They've just been used to create that lovely, vibrant opacity in the colour and that blended background technique.
Wonderful. Someone is also asking as well, the sponges, Leanne, can they be washed?
Yes. What I do, you know, you get those net... Well, actually, I'm telling you, Fib. Shall I tell you what I really do? I've got an old pair of tights. And I stuff my sponges in my tights. Look a bit my leg, look a bit like my legs look these days, actually. So you've got the just all get stuffed up and knobbly, and then I fling it in the washer with nothing else in, with some non-biological washing, no fabric softener, so just your regular washing powder. In the tights, in the washing machine, so they don't rattle all over or get stuck down any little holes because you don't want them escaping. And then I take them out and I just leave them on a tray to dry and they're good to go. That's what I do. I use
Fabulous.
my tights. But if you want to use a laundry bag instead, you could use a laundry bag.
Wonderful. I'm a bit bad for that. You know, you're meant to put stuff in a laundry bag and put it in the washing machine. Like, I put shoes in the washing machine, which is really bad, apparently. And I don't even put them in a pillowcase. I just throw them in as is, and when they come out, they always end up falling apart. Who was it who was saying? Maxine was saying that she's from Essex, and when she goes to Cumbria, people think that she's posh. Well, that's the sort of thing that happens to me up here. People think, I mean, never before in my life has everyone ever thought I was posh, but in the northeast, you know, I seem to be, I'm posh, which I'm all right with. I'm not sad about it. I'm not sad about it. Yeah. I want to come back, just give you a reminder of the ink pad collection. It is very, very busy for this, as we knew it would be. You're basically getting 29 of our 36 most popular colours. So there's actually 36 colours in total here. You're getting the 29 most popular ones, which is fantastic. So you've got a really, really comprehensive selection to get you started. You know that you're going to be able to create, really, I guess, projects suitable for any occasion, because you've got the full complement almost of those colours. Great saving, don't forget as well, £44.71 is your saving in the UK. In the US, you're saving £61.55. Don't forget about the craft vault as well. I'm hearing just how busy those craft vault items are. If you want to find them, you'll find them within this show. So the craft vault items are always within the show that it's in, basically. So it's in the special this morning. You'll be able to see it there. I do just want to grab one for you that I know that I'm worried about stock-wise. Something that I know our Leann will love. It's the Ring Out Those Bells. That's almost a Liza Minnelli song. It's a Liza Minnelli song called Ring Those Bells, one of my favourites. This is the foil stamp Gemini foil stamp elements die that you've got here, $4.99. If you've been thinking about this one or you've seen it on the website, I don't know if we have enough of that to last the show. When I do the craft vault in about 45 minutes, I hope we'll have some of that still, but I'm not sure we will, so please be quick for that. I'll just pop that over there. I just don't want you to miss out. I'd hate for you to wait for the craft vault items and then them not be there. The Chloe paper pads happened exactly the same thing last week. The storage trays are so busy. Remember what you're getting as well. Maybe a lot of you are using this time to have a bit of a tidy up. I know I am. I'm using this time at the moment, all my extra time, to do lots of life admin. I'm doing it at the moment. I've got a very long list. Do my tax return next week. Oh, that's not a fun weekend, honestly. It'll be a sea of receipts and me drowning in the middle of it somewhere, scratching my head with a pen. But anyway, these are on such a great deal. It's a great time to get yourself organised. You get 6 of these, which is fantastic. So you'll be able to store 18 ink pads in here. They take all of the Spectrum Noir ink pads, of course, even the smaller square ones like your distress ink pads, they will go in there and they store beautifully. Now, $16.99 would normally get you these 6. However, today $16.99 will get you these 6 and another 6, because you buy one, you get one free. What do you do, Leann?
You buy one and you get one free.
Absolutely, that is exactly what you do. So do grab them whilst you're on that great deal. $16.99 in the UK, $24.99 if you are in the US. I want to show you as well this stamp collection that we've got for you on the show. So what you've got here is a really wonderful collection. You've got in here 6 different stamp sets. They should be $9.99 each ordinarily, but not today. So you've got Floral Fusion. You also have Essential Sentiments. There is your Ornate Swirls. You've also got their Summer Garden. Oh, I'm all fingers and thumbs today, aren't I? Floral Arrangements. And also, then the last one there is your Frame Sentiments as well. So you're going to get all of that. Oh, and that one as well. I almost shortchanged it there. Look, Summer Garden 2. So you've got 90. Oh, if we had that one, I'm trying to give it to you twice. I know, I'll get... They'll dock it out my wages. 95 stamps in total there for you, £38 or $58. And these are great to use with those opaque pigment ink pads, as Leann has been showing you all the way through the show. Lots of you are joining us a bit later in the US. We'll let you off, you know, in the morning, because I know it's 5 a.m. we start in the East Coast. 3 a.m. some of you were up this morning joining us. Don't forget, there's so much coming up this week as well. Towards the end of this this show, I'll give you a bit of a heads up on all the things that's happening. But we've got double helpings of Leann today, which really pleases me. Myself and Leann are back as well for Monday Make. Do you want to give us a little bit of a, a sneaky? Because we were just discussing Monday Makers and saying how great a show it's going to be tonight, weren't we?
It is going to be fantastic, and there are so many surprises on that show for you. If you've loved this masterclass with these opaque pigment ink pads, I've got the metallic ones on the show tonight, and they will blow your mind. And all of the techniques that I've been showing you in this masterclass, you can do with the metallic ink pads that are on Monday Makers tonight, but you get that fabulous metallic sheen, especially the one I've just done with that sentiment. If you use your rose gold metallic ink pad and then heat emboss it with some clear powder on top of your sentiment, my word, it is exquisite. So do tune in for that. Now, one of the things I've got to show you here is we're going to get a bit Harry Potter now. We're going to get a bit Harry Potter. So I've got a stencil here. And actually this one is one of my very favourites, and it's from the Sarah Crafty Fun range, which I love, and it's got a really lovely kind of Moroccan trellis feel to it, which I think is glorious. And we're getting back to choosing colours again, Joe. So did we dare trust Joe with choosing some colours, folks?
How many colours do we want?
Well, three, up to three.
Do they have to be similar ones? Or?
Well, they would have to work together.
Oh, now you're asking. I need that colour wheel out of the compendium, don't I? That's what I need.
Yeah.
So how about then, should we go a bit sort of rusticy? How about, Friar Brown with the Bordeaux and the Sandstorm?
Sandstorm. I like Sandstorm and Friar Brown. I think that's good.
Not Bordeaux, though?
No, I think that's a bit red.
Oh, something sort of pastel-y?
Well, how about something green?
Okay, Spring Meadow?
Spring Meadow. Oh, have you got grasshopper?
We have got grasshopper, yeah.
Should we use a bit of grasshopper?
Yeah,
Yes, let's do that. Okay. So we're going a bit more grungy in look with this one. Let's do that. I think that's really lovely. Now, just before I do that, you see I've been using my clear embossing powder, haven't I, in my dish. You've seen me doing that all the time with my spoon. This is where we get Harry Potter. Whatever you do, do not spend a fortune on glitter embossing powder. This is regular, reasonable clear embossing powder in my dish. And then actually, this is my pot of crystal glitter from my compendium. And it's a huge pot of crystal glitter. So what I can do is add some of this into my embossing powder and then give it a little mix. And what I've created is my own glitter embossing powder by doing that. So you can be your own alchemist at home, and you can create your own embossing powders by putting whatever colour glitter you want into that clear, and you're going to get that lovely glittery interference. And then what I do is I just keep an old jam jar or a little like a dressing pot or something like that, and then I put this back in at the end, and I've made my clear embossing powder myself. So don't spend a fortune on it, you don't need to. I wanted to show you that. Okay, so now we're going to use these three colours here. So we'll start with, I think we'll start with Friar Brown, move into Grasshopper, and then into Sandstorm. We'll see what it looks like. And if it doesn't look very good, it's Joe's fault. Okay, so we're going to do exactly as we did before. Notice I'm using my eggs and I'm pouncing this on to my piece of cardstock underneath through my stencil. And when I'm doing a big stencil like this, I do like to use the eggs rather than the daubers, because I can cover a lot more space more quickly, as you can see here. Okay, so I've already covered, in a matter of 5 seconds, a third of that stencil with my Friar Brown. And I am going to heat emboss it, so I'm just making sure that I'm getting a good coverage of ink down there. So then I'm going to come in with my Grasshopper now. I'm going to go over with the Grasshopper. Actually, do you know what this is? This is out of my comfort zone, Joe. I wouldn't normally pick colours like this grungy. I normally go for like the fuchsias and yellows and parakeets, like the real rainbow colours are usually what I would go for. So it's nice to try something out of your comfort zone every now and again. Maybe just get somebody in the family to pick colours for you rather than just go into the colours you like, because I do tend to gravitate to my favourite colours. and not go out of my comfort zone.
Let us know in the comments what colours you'd like to see. You've got 29 to choose from, so pop into the Facebook Live. Let us know what colours you would like, and then when they don't go together, it'll be your fault and not mine, which I'm okay with.
Now, notice what I'm doing just to get the little transition between the green and the brown is I'm just tickling over with the green one, and I've got that nice smooth blend between the two now. And then the final colour is the Sandstorm, isn't it? And we're going to put that on the end down here. Oh, no, see, do you know what? I think you've done a good job here, Jo. I'm liking this.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it looks lovely.
But I guess the thing is, with the techniques as well, and doing it in like the fuchsia and the baby blue and something else would give you a completely different look and feel, wouldn't it?
Completely. And you know what? You might be a crafter who doesn't like to do all of the bright, girly, floral colours, which are the ones I usually gravitate to. You might like to do things a little more grungy or muted. And actually, it's nice to see that the products that you've got and the colours that you naturally prefer will work with all of the techniques in exactly the same way. So I've done from Friar Brown through to Grasshopper with a little bit of Sandstorm on the end, through that stencil. Did you notice that I I sprayed the back of my stencil with my stick and spray. Oh, Jo, look at that.
Oh, lovely.
Wowzers. That looks amazing. Look at those 3 colours. I would never have done that. It looks fantastic.
Could you, if you wanted to, this is just me thinking out loud. Okay. Would you, if it's dry, when it's dry, could you put the sparkle pen, the clear overlay over these ink pads?
Well, wait till you see what I've done here. So, I'm one step ahead of you. Can you remember just like a minute ago when I said to mix your glitter in your powder? Look at this. Can you see it on there? Can you see it already? Look. So imagine making these backgrounds with your stencils yourself and with this homemade glitter embossing powder. So you see I've sprinkled that all over that background. Now we're going to heat it. Wait till you see this. Oh my word, yeah. So Johnny, our producer's saying it's like earth tones. It's exactly what it's like.
Do you know what we used to, fun games, so because I'm not very cultured yet, I don't know if you've worked it out yet. What we used to do is when I lived in Manchester, we'd go to the Manchester Art Gallery, and we would obviously go and look at the paintings, and lovely Lowry paintings, all those kind of things. But our favourite game was actually, it was sponsored by a well-known paint brand. You know the one that everyone loves in the UK that has the funny names for the colours. So we used to spend most of our time going around each room and laughing at what the paint names were called. One of my favourites is Elephant's Breath. One of the colours
it was Elephant Breath. I think I had, it was one of those, that particular brand, it was called Mouseback.
Mouseback?
Yeah.
We used to find it so amusing going, every room had a little plaque by the door to say what colour had been donated by the paint range. This is hours of fun going on the gallery.
Now this is nearly all melted now, if that's the technical term. So it looks beautifully enamelled. So you've got your heat embossing powder on there. You've got that beautiful blended ombre between the 3. Because it's a pigment ink pad, it stayed sticky. I've heated that, and remember I did my little mixing of my glitter embossing powder in there. And then look, can you see, look at that? Oh my word, Jo! I'm going to put this on the end of my desk for you again, so you can show everybody on your camera, because you're going to be blown away by that, Jo. You're going to be blown away.
Like the glitter's going like the same colour as the colours underneath.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh,
look.
Let's show you. Look at this.
Look. Oh. Look at that! I feel like you need angels and trumpets in a fanfare, a confetti cannon, Jo, a confetti cannon. How amazing is that? Look at the smooth blend between those 3 colours. That's a full background for a card now, just a lovely sentiment on there. How beautiful is that?
I think, as Yolanda was saying, it would make a great sentiment for a masculine card, as which some of you I know struggle with. Nicole saying that is stunning. Helena saying she's going to get her stencils out today and have a play,
yes,
which is fantastic. Carol also says, I love using the stencils in that way. Sometimes do things like texture paste with that as well, which is lovely. Hannah is also saying that she's got a southern accent. She lives in Cumbria and people think that she's posh too. And Carol saying that she jumped in first thing and got the bell, so no one is beating her. I'm quite, it's a bit scary, me pointing with that pen, isn't it? Bit teachery, I don't know why. Let's pack that away before I get in trouble. Carol's saying she bought the bells first thing, so no one is going to let her miss out on those items in the craft vault. So make sure you get to those. Rennie, loving all of these extra early morning shows, saying she loves waking up with us in the morning. Jan in Italy saying that she has got a parcel. It's waiting for her to pick it up at the hotel. So she is very, very happy this morning. Very, very busy this morning on the 29-piece ink pad collection, as I knew that it would be. Let me just share with you again a few of these samples that Leann picked out for me this morning, just because these were the ones I know she absolutely loves. And it just gives you an idea of just how versatile these ink pads are, that you can create so many different things that look so different from one ink pad. And I think that's what we want in our crafty stashes, isn't it? We want one product that's going to enable us to do so many types of crafting, so many different techniques, and this really is fabulous. And I think stamping is definitely one of those things. I think stamping is so incredibly versatile, but when you have ink pads that are also equally as versatile, the possibilities really are endless. Shall I quickly run you through the colours that are in the 29-piece collection? I'll just pick a few out. So ocean blues in here, sandstorm, damson wine, plum jam, green topaz, Bordeaux, Chinese red, pumice, anthracite. You've got 29 different colours within there. You think about all of the colour combinations that you're going to be able to put together using those. And what's great is when you're using these ink pads to craft with, you're never going to be in a position with this comprehensive bundle where you think, oh, I wish I just had that sort of colour so I could blend it with this colour to get this effect that I want. This has been specifically put together by Leann to give you the highlights that you need from this range to achieve the most amount of results that you possibly can. It's why it's so busy. You're saving over £44 in the UK. You're saving over $60 here in the US. Let me share with you the details of the blending collection as well. Very busy here. A lot of you going for this one. Pretty much a comprehensive collection of all the tools that you need. So in here, you've got the brayer, which is fantastic. You've got the round and square blending tools. You've also got 10 refills for each of the square and the round blenders. You've got the craft mat, you've got the misters, the blending sponges, and you've got the mixing palette as well. So a very, very comprehensive collection there. Don't forget about the storage too. Buy one, get one free on the storage, which is amazing to get that deal. And you've got enough in there to store all 29 of your ink pads. Don't forget as well, maybe you're just having a bit of a spring clean in the craft room. This will take most other brands of ink pads as well. So you've got the smaller square ones that are a sort of standard size. They will fit in here too, which is brilliant. I can actually see some of you multi-ordering on that one, which is fantastic. I know you are going to love them. Oh, should we just quickly go to the stamps whilst we're here? So the stamp collection is great, a really great collection. So you've got 6 stamp sets in total. This one is Summer Garden. You've also got floral arrangements. We have frame sentiments, ornate swirls, essential sentiments, and also floral fusion. Now they should be $9.99 each. However, if you get them as a bundle, which is always the best way of getting the best value, you save 35%, takes them down to £38 or $58, which is fantastic. Loads of you still commenting along. Don't forget, you can still send us in your pictures. studio@craftscompanion.co.uk is where you need to send them. But I can see Leann is ready with her next technique, so I'm going to hand you back.
Right, I love stamping self-colour on self-colour for a background. I think it's really classy and it really just adds a little bit of je ne sais quoi to your project sometimes. It doesn't always have to be about big, bold, in your face. It can be about lovely and subtle and classy and polite sometimes as well. Have you got any lovely greys in your collection over there, George? You want to tell me some grey colours?
How about the smoked pearl? Is that one? Is that good?
Smoked
or
pearl.
We've got anthracite as well.
Anthracite, yes, that's good.
Wonderful. And there's pumice as well in there too.
Pumice. Have you got? Oh, I've got smoked pearl. I like the smoked pearl.
Oh yes, I've got that one.
Smoked pearl. And pumice might be a bit. Have we got twilight grey?
Don't think so.
No. Okay. Well, we'll use these two. We'll use anthracite and smoked pearl.
Fabulous.
And then I'm going to do some with some greens as well. Have you got lagoon?
I have.
Oh, good. And have you got green topaz?
I have.
Oh, we're going
this
to use
is
them
like
next.
countdown it. I'll have 2 from the bottom, 3, 2 from the top and 3 from the bottom, please, Carol.
I'll have a consonant, 3 consonants, 2 vowels, please, Joe. Right, now then, I've got a lovely piece. This is from our Crafter's Companion pads in the background there. You know the lovely 8x8 pads we've got, the textured pads. So this is just a lovely one of the greys that we've got in there. And then I've got my anthracite and my smoked pearl. And what I'm just going to show you is how I like to layer up some of these fabulous solid stamps that we've got. So I've got these from the collection, which is that one, Joe. I can't remember the name. That one, Pet?
That one is the Summer Garden.
Lovely, that one. So I've got a lovely little frond from there, and I'm just stamping onto here. So I've inked it up, and I inked it up first, look at that, with my anthracite. Look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that really beautiful and classy? It's like colour on colour, if that makes sense, where you can build up really beautiful subtle backgrounds, especially for your wedding, well, for any time of the year. It doesn't have to be just for wedding invitations, but you can just build up all of these florals, and you will keep swapping your stamp around and using them in different ways. I'm just rotating it as I go around. You can see that there, inking it up, changing direction. So I was moving my card there. I can't just rotate my stamp. Honestly, if I'd be dangerous if I was let out sometimes. So there we go. That's with the first colour. That was with anthracite. Now I'm going to keep the same stamp on. I've just given it a little wipe. And now I'm going to get the smoked pearl. I'm going to ink up with the smoked pearl over the top here. And then I'm going to line it up. Because I've got my stamping platform, I can get it in about the same place. I'm offsetting it a little bit, and I'm overlaying that new colour over the top. And look what I get. I get that lovely shadow where you can get the offset, and you can do it in lighter colours as well if you want. So actually keep that stamp on there. Let's get a lighter colour from here, Joe. Did you say we had pumice before?
We have indeed,
Let's see, well, let's do the pumice. So I'm going to ink up with pumice and then show you what will happen. I'm going to put it over line it up over the top of this one, and you get some lovely effects doing it this way. And actually you can do the light colour first and then the dark colour, and it gives you a drop shadow. I'm going to line that up there, go over with my pumice. Look, I get a lovely drop shadow on there. Can you just see that? It's ever so subtle. It really is lovely. And so if I just move that to one side and we do it again with the green, keep the same stamp. This is more of a, it's like a putty colour, that, isn't it, that colour card, which is really nice. And I'm going to use my lagoon and my green topaz for this.
I thought you said potty then.
Putty. Potty's a totally different colour of card. Petty. I need to enunciate more, don't I? It's like a petty rather than a putty. Putty if you're in the northeast, petty if you're from the rest of the world. My dad used to use putty a lot because he was a painter and decorator.
What colour is that cardstock that you're using there? Do you know?
It's like a putty colour.
It is.
It's from this pad here.
Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Oh, my
I was
word.
so distracted by the fact that I thought you'd said potty that I.
1, 2, 3's
I
back in the
lost
room.
it.
I'm up on my step. It's from this pad, Joe.
Ah, lovely. The 8x8 textured
Yes.
cardstock. Is it
And
a
it's
textured
that
or a
one.
smooth one?
That one. From
Lovely.
This pad. Lovely card pad, that. Right, there we go. So I've stamped this one up in my green topaz. There we go.
Beautiful. And someone was asking earlier about making a wreath. I guess this would be a perfect stamp to do that with.
Oh
wouldn't it?
gosh, yes, you just go around in a circle if you've got a big enough piece of card. That would be amazing to do that, actually. So I'm just stamping that down with my green topaz. I'm not going to fill the whole piece of card because I just want you to be able to see what it looks like. And so you see self-colour on self-colour. That brown putty piece of cardstock now has took on a little bit of a green tinge because I've put green on top of it there with the stamp. So it takes on the hue of the colour that you're putting on top,
I see.
which is really nice.
Ray is saying that she loves all this early morning creativity, which is lovely. And also Pam was saying the previous demo that you did, that colour combination, she used it with the gingerbread layering stamp that we had last week, and it looked absolutely fabulous.
I bet that did look amazing. Wow. Well, so you know your layering stamps, when you're using them with your quick dry, if you do your last layer in the matching colour of pigment, because you heat emboss it, oh my word, it looks amazing.
How
there
gorgeous.
we go, look. Look at how we got the drop shadow there. Isn't that lovely? I wanted to show you with two obvious colours that you could see on the camera. Doesn't that look really lovely? So you can start to build up lovely drop shadowing and really classy, different backgrounds. So it's not just about your sentiments and your wows. Look at this. If this was all over a background and then you cut that up, that's going to look truly, truly gorgeous.
It does look. It looks like a sort of fancy printed wallpaper.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to be able to do this because the colours are so classy. It's actually, the colours are very like that fancy brand you were talking about earlier. They're just really, really lovely. Look at that. And that's just doing a lighter colour and then a darker colour over the top to get that lovely drop shadow. And then I've got a couple of examples of that here to show you actually. So you can see here where I've used, can you see the white around the outside? So that's the white pigment ink pad with then the same colours over the top, just offset to get that lovely drop shadow there. Look, this is exactly what I've just done here. But with two different colours. Look, and I've ombre on that one, so I've used 3 different colours there. So you've got a light, a medium and the dark green to get that lovely vine transition. And then here, that's exactly the stamp I've just used, where I've done a blended background using the colours and then over stamped some of those lovely little stamps just to give a little bit of foliage on the bottom there. No different to that technique there. I think that's lovely, using the 2 different colours, overlaying them a little bit, so you're just offsetting them, so you get that lovely 3D feel and you can build up your own backgrounds.
Someone asking, can you use, it was a question earlier, I didn't see who it came from, can you use these in your embossing folders, these
you can. Shall I try and find an embossing folder and show you?
I'd love to. Do you want to use the one that's coming up in the craft folder?
Yeah, why not? And then I can get my junior out. Is it a big one?
Yeah, it's a 3D one.
Okay.
It's this one.
We can do that. Yeah, I'll do that and then I'll get my junior out and I'll show you. Let's do it.
Shall I stand here for a sec? I'll run this over first.
Yeah.
I think we both sort of walked off screen at the same time.
I think we did. That's because we're so excited. Never mind professional, it's all about
Just
being excited.
It just ran away. A good chance for me to remind you as well about the craft vault whilst Leann is opening that up. This is in the craft vault. Make sure it's a Zen Garden one indeed. So make sure you go and check all the offers out. They are there on the website. And I've got my pen out again, haven't I? I better pack that away. I'll get told off. Don't forget as well, I know a lot of you are taking in all this inspiration and joining the conversation on Facebook. If you want to watch and shop at the same time, then the website is where you go to do that. craftscompanion.co.uk.com or .eu, depending on, of course, where you are. As well as all the inspiration that we bring you live here as well in our Crafters TV shows. Don't forget, check our website out, check our YouTube channel out as well, because you'll find so much inspiration for a whole host of different products and types of crafting, from colouring to sewing to all of these lovely ink pads that you're seeing as well. So it's a real wealth of inspiration there as well for you. So do go and check all of those out. I think Leann is just about ready. Don't forget.
Have you got a brayer there, Joe?
A brayer, yeah, of course. 1 second. I've got one here. It's one in the blending collection. So I'm going to pop this over. There you are.
Thank you very much, Joe.
2 metres apart, still there you are.
Oh, thank you. We're all getting ready. I'm going to open this up. So just so you know, when you do your craft vault, all of your stuff's out of the packages.
That's all right. Don't worry. I'll forgive you. I'll let you off.
Thank you.
And don't forget as well, all of our regular programming, we're still bringing you here at Crafters TV, and we're bringing you all of these extra special shows. We're with you pretty much every day at 11 a.m. Even on Saturday as well. There's a best of show now on a Saturday at 11 a.m. And then you'll still have your regular shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 4 p.m. in the UK or 11 p.m. on the East Coast. And then Cartload, of course, 7 p.m. here in the UK or 2 p.m. if you are on the East Coast. So we'll still keep bringing you all of that regular programming. Sandra is saying hello from Las Vegas, which is fantastic. I'd love to go to Las Vegas, somewhere I've definitely never been. All of you crafty folk commenting in from where you're from in the US does make me want to go on like a bit of a sort of US road trip. I think it would be lovely. We could take Leann's caravan and we could go off. I think it'd take us a while to get the caravan there, so maybe we'll hire one, but then we could do a little road trip around. Don't forget as well just how busy the ink pads are. You have got a phenomenal deal on them. You're saving £44 in the UK. You're saving over $60 in the US. There is a smaller one as well. There is a 13-piece essential collection. However, pretty much all of you seeing the value in the larger collection and going for that £100 or $140. Right, I'm going to hand you back to Leann because I think she's just about set to go. Sorry, I threw you a massive curveball there, didn't I, Leann?
That's okay. I love a curveball. There's no better type. And you know what? It's lovely though, isn't it? To just get those little things thrown and when we're here, be able to go, yeah, let me show you how. Because that's what it's all about when we're doing these fabulous masterclasses with our pigment ink pads. It's about, what are you worrying about at home? What do you think would work? Let's try it live. If it works, brilliant. If it doesn't, you'll know not to do it yourself at home. So let's see what happens. But I think this is going to look great. Now, I was just deciding there, depending on what effect I want, which side of my folder to ink up. And I think I'm going to go with I can't decide whether to do the positive or the negative. I'm going to do the negative. Do you know what? Depending on which side you use you'll get a different result. So we're going to I've got these two greens out that I was using before, so I'm just going to keep these. And then all you do is you roll the ink onto your brayer. Now you can do it with your brayer like that, so you see, look how beautiful the coverages I get there. And then all you do is you roll that over your embossing folder, and you get that lovely coverage of ink on there. And actually this will work better. I might have to get my egg out, and I'll tell you why. With a 3D embossing folder, you've got multiple levels of embossing. So you haven't got one solid pattern, one solid 2D pattern. So actually with a 2D embossing folder, it would work a lot better. So I'm going to put the brayer down and I'm going to get my sponge. I'm going to get my little
Have you got
out.
one or do you want another one?
I've got one.
Fabulous.
I'll use this one. And I'm going to use my sponge to get the ink onto the folder rather than the brayer. If you've got a 2D folder, use your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your brayer instead, because it'll just pick up all of the pattern instead. I've never actually done this technique with a 3D folder before, so let's see if it works. I know for a fact it will definitely work with your 2D folders at home, but let's see what this looks like once it's run through the machine. So you see, I'm just trying to pick up the top surface so you can see the pattern coming out. So that should be the only bit that embosses with the colour when we run it through the machine. Let's see what that looks like. Try not to get the colour in too many places because I want the pattern to be obvious. Certainly with your 2D folders that you've got at home, this will work an absolute treat. So I'm just getting lots of ink on there. There we go. And I'll do the same with this one here just to make sure I've got ink where I need it. I've got a blend between the two. Happy with that. Then I've quickly cut a piece of cardstock, pop that into the folder. Pop the sandwich. Sometimes with a 3D folder you need your magnetic, sometimes you don't. So I'm going to try it with and see if we do. If we don't, we'll take the magnetic out. And the junior will always stop and spit it back out for me if it doesn't like. It likes because it's going through. So that's good. It's feeling like a happy junior today. Now if I pick this up and oh,
gorgeous, look at that.
Oh my word, that looks like a piece of vintage, I'm keep whipping it out of shot, sorry, a piece, because I'm so excited, a piece of vintage fabulousness. Look at that with a 3D folder. Look, I'm going to do, Joe. I'm getting my glitter and oh my word, because that's sticky ink. This is live experimenting and live wow crafting.
So it's
right
embossed,
here in the studio.
It's embossed, inked and heat embossed.
Yeah.
Oh. If you want to go for that 3D folder as well, it is in the craft vault. You're never going to believe. Shut the front door, shut the back door, lower the blinds, fire up the smoke machine and put on your heels, Leanne. It's £3.49.
Stop it.
I know.
No way. That is ridiculous. That's really good value. This is a beautiful folder. I mean, the amount of detail in here, the lace, the fine detail is incredible. And when you see what it looks like now that we've 3D embossed it, inked it, heat embossed it, which is what we're doing now, with the glitter in, it looks absolutely gorgeous, Jo.
I mean, it's a gorgeous embossing folder just run through ordinary cardstock. I think as well, Crafts Companion do embossing folders so well. They are absolutely gorgeous. Diane is asking how you clean the embossing folder after you've inked it like that, Leanne.
Sorry?
How you clean it.
How afterwards. You clean it. If you just washing up liquid in the sink, bit of soapy water, or if you've got our stick away.
Oh yeah.
I just use stick away.
Okay.
But if you want to take it downstairs and put it in the washing up sink, you can.
Okay, wonderful. Also, Maxine's making me laugh. She says she's not going to be looking forward to going back to work after lockdown because she's going to miss all of these extra shows. That's a really good point, though, Maxine, because don't forget, every single show that we bring you here on Crafters TV lives on the Crafts Companion website. Under Crafters TV, you can watch back pretty much every show we've ever done. And whilst the deals last for 48 hours, once the deals have expired, you've still got all the hints, the tips, the inspiration, so you never, ever need miss any of your favourite shows here on Crafts TV.
Right, Jo, I'm gonna fling this to the end of my counter again for you, because I want you to be able to get that up close and personal to everybody so they can see it. And actually, while you're doing that and showing them, I'm going to do the other side of the folder so you can see the other result.
Wonderful. Now let me bring this in and show you just how gorgeous this is. Are you ready for this? Oh, look at that. Do you know what it looks like? It looks like the inside of some sort of fabulous Indian temple or something.
Yes.
What is it? They have that festival. Is it the Holy Festival? You know, with all the colours. Have you ever seen that?
I've
Leanne?
seen that. I would love to go.
Where they throw all the powdered,
pigmented people.
all the powdered, ink at each other. I've been to one in the UK and it was fun, but obviously it wasn't as fun as being in India, which is definitely what I'd love to do. Diane saying she's a little late to the party this morning, saying good morning. Don't forget as well that embossing folder, if you want it, it is in the vault, £3.49. If you've gone for your ink pads, definitely pop that into your basket as well. What is this? Maxine is asking again. I know we've had this question a few times, so it's good to cover it again. What is the difference between quick dry and opaque, as they do look similar when stamped, Leanne?
Right, so the difference between the two is quick dry. When you stamp that ink down, will be dry in a matter of 2 seconds. Blink and you've missed it.
Okay.
And it's perfectly dry as soon as you do that. And means you can't smudge it, you can't move, which is great because that's what you want with a quick dry ink pad, especially if you're doing sentiments and you're doing your layering. You don't want your ink to smudge and get all over the place. You just want it to dry quickly and be precise. Quick dry will do that, like that, and it's dry. With your pigment ink pads, as I've got here, I've put that all over here and now it's wet and I'm going to put it through my folder. I'm going to be able to put my pad on it so it stays very tacky and very sticky for a long time. I would not be able to do this technique, for example, with my quick dry ink pads. It just would not work because as soon as I put it on the folder, it would be dry.
Okie doke.
It does dry very, very quickly.
Robbie's saying that she loves the coloured embossing folder. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is. And also, do you know what the thing is? It's nice when you buy something and it reinvigorates part of your crafty stash that you'd forgotten about before. Think about buying these and then getting all of your embossing folders out. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Oh, and you can even glitter it. I'm going to glitter half of it so you can see. I'm just going to do the bottom bit here. And then I'm going to pass it to you. Look at that, Jo. Look at the difference. So that's the opposite side of the embossing folder, inked up. And I'm just going to do half of that there and heat it so you can see the difference.
Jan's saying she's going to try this with her Lily Garden collection 3D embossing folders as well. Would work beautiful. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, imagine going back into your stash today, getting all your embossing folders out and knowing that when these come back, you're going to do these new techniques with them, which is fantastic.
It looks fabulous.
Oh, you've got inky hands apparently, Leanne.
Sorry?
You've got inky hands. Are you all right?
feeling a bit discombobulated, Joe. I'm feeling like I need to run to the bathroom and wash them. But I'm going to get my hand sanitizer out in a second and see if I can deal with that. Honestly, I'm not good with muggy hands. I'm terrible. I use rubber gloves for everything at home. I've got rubber gloves for raw meat, rubber gloves for washing up, rubber gloves for peeling potatoes. I don't like the feeling of starch on my fingers peeling potatoes. I'm a nightmare. Right, I'm going to fling this on the end of my counter again for you, Joe, so you can show everybody.
Okie doke, I'm going to come and grab it.
You grabbing that and showing everybody, it looks amazing. And then you can see the difference between the two different sides of the embossing folder.
Do you know
when
what?
I've inked it and then embossed it.
I love it. Do you know what I also love?
What do you love? The mess on the back.
I've not even seen it. The second generation that you got on the back is amazing. Firstly, look at that.
It is. Looking at it, even clean that off.
Really lovely pastel-y, but look at that. Kapow! It's amazing. Really, really is amazing. And the bit that Leann is glittered is that bottom edge. You can really see the difference that it makes by just adding the glittery embossing powder on there. So many different ways of using it. That is, of course, using it with just one of your embossing folders. Think about cracking out all of those embossing folders that you haven't used in a little while. And think about all the different ways that you're going to be able to use these, because yes, you're going to be able to use these standalone for all of your different inky techniques, as Leann's been showing you all the way through the show. But think about how you're going to be able to incorporate all of your other crafts into it. So think about creating backgrounds and then maybe die cutting. Have a look. You'll be looking at all of your dies differently, especially your sentiment dies as well. So there is, I think there's a lot to be said about sort of reinvigorating parts of your stash that you haven't used for a little while. I just want to talk to you about what's coming up for the rest of the week here on Crafters TV. So tonight, 4 p.m. In the UK, or yes, 4 p.m. in the UK, 11 a.m. on the East Coast. So it was a bit of a bigger gap and now it's smaller again. So I'm still a bit discombobulated with the time difference. We've got Monday makers. So bad news, if you didn't enjoy this show, I'm afraid we're both back later tonight. Good news, if you loved it, we're back later tonight. So, you know, it depends how you look at it. Are you a glass half full or a glass half empty? I'm joking. I know you've absolutely loved this show. I can see from the comments. We're back later tonight. Tomorrow, the second instalment, something started last week, The Softer Side of Life, a brand new 2-hour soft crafting show with myself and Sarah will be here. And then tomorrow night, myself and Sarah will be here with the launch party. I know we're going to be having a look at those new Spectrum Noir Discovery collections and know how much you guys have been loving those. And we've got the beautiful butterfly collection on the show too. Wednesday, there's another Sarah special coming your way. And then Wednesday night will be Creative Cravings. It's our chance for maybe people that are trying a type of craft for the first time, or maybe you're a new crafter, to get involved. We'll be doing the Crafty Clinic that night as well. Thursday, we'll see Cartload, so there will be a preview in the morning and then Cartload in the evening. And then Friday, there will be a Sarah colouring special coming up for you, 11 a.m. in the UK. And then finally on Saturday, there's our best of show too. So I mean, there is so much crafty fun coming your way this week here on Crafters TV. And if you want to watch anything back, or you want to see the schedule, it's all over on the website, crafterscompanion.co.uk. Oh no, shut the front door. I've forgotten one. And how could I forget this one of the most important ones of the week? The HSN preview will be here, and that will be at 10 a.m. On the East Coast. So don't miss out on that. I'll be previewing the items that are coming up next week on HSN. I know a lot of you have been asking questions about HSN, and will Sarah still be on HSN? We are doing our best by the medium of technology. We hope to bring Sarah to you on HSN next week, so join the preview then. Right, I'm waffling, so I'm going to hand you back to Leann so I can see she is ready to go.
Okay, so I thought we'd have a look at how to do some lovely silhouette stamping with our Pigment ink pad. So I've got myself some new eggs of colour here because it does allow me to blend much more quickly, and I'm going to pick some lovely colours again. So I think I'm going back to my roots. Have you got, Joe, have you got parakeet?
Yes, I have indeed.
Have you? And have you got lemon tonic?
You get a cream for that. Lemon tonic? No, I don't, sorry.
Have you got fuchsia?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got fuchsia. Have you got crushed velvet?
I have indeed.
Okay, we're going crushed velvet. Have you got honey pot?
Have indeed, yeah.
Okay, we're going those three. Look at these three colours. Wow. So we're going honey pot, crushed velvet, parakeet. There, look at, oh yes, this makes me happy.
Beautiful
That there
colours.
just makes me happy, those colours. So I'm going to start with my yellow. And actually I'm going to put a bit of scrap paper underneath because it just saves me having to clean my mat later because I can put scrap paper in the bin. And I'm picking that up and I'm blending in, oh man, look at that. I got a bit too carried away there, Joe. I cannot work on bent card. There we are. Right, so I'm blending in the colour and I'm not worrying about daubing it on because actually what I want to do is just get that lovely intense colour. Oh, I've done it again. Oh, you can't, doesn't matter. I'm just going to leave it. What I like to do at home, just so you know, to save that happening to you, is I like to tape it down with my repositionable tape to my mat, my glass mat, and that's how I would do it. So if you struggle with that, same as I'm doing there, then that's what you would do. So actually, as I'm blending this on now and really rubbing it in, what I'm actually doing is rubbing away a lot of the sticky. So when you were asking about, do you have to put the embossing powder on, or can you just leave it nice and flat? Doing it in this way with the egg and then just really softly blending it out takes a lot of that sticky away for you. And so you just get that lovely, bright, vibrant colour, which I've done here. So you see, I'm just using my little egg and I'm just mooching it around on a piece of very smooth cardstock. This is Nina cardstock I'm using here, and I've managed to get that lovely blend. I'm then going to go with my pink, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. But what I do get is a really opaque, it's like making your own rainbow cardstock at home. I get a really beautiful opaque colour. And then where I come gently into where that first layer of the yellow was, I'm able to get that beautiful transition to the peach colour, which you would normally get when you're doing your Harmony Water reactives with your watercolour, but you wouldn't be able to use your Harmony Water reactives on a piece of cardstock this smooth because it would just be still, it wouldn't move around, which is why I always tell you to use your watercolour card. So if you want to use a lovely smooth cardstock and do some lovely solid silhouette stamping, you know, with all of your fairies and what have you, then your pigment ink pads to build the background up are brilliant for that. So I'll just put a little bit more of this pink on here. And then we will come to that lovely crushed velvet as a final colour. So I'll pick up my egg for that, pick up the crushed velvet and bring that in. And what I do is I tape the card down to the glass mat at home, but for speed, just to get through the demos. I haven't done that here. And when I get down to the pink, I release the pressure, so I'm not pushing the colour in, and I just tickle over the top, which gives me the lovely blend between the two. There we go. So just turn that round because it's easier for me to work this way. Oh, I think I'm going to have to steep my hands for a week, Joe. Oh,
That's a good point, actually. Any top tips for removing ink from fingers?
alcohol, hand sanitizer, or wash your hair, shampoo.
Wash your hair?
Yeah, shampoo. I mean, if you don't want to wash your hair, you could just use the shampoo. But shampoo does get the ink off your fingers better than hand soap. Better than hand soap. Right, okay, so I've blended that. I'm happy with that. That's looking superb, or super even. And then what I'm going to do is just give it a little heat. So it takes some of the residual moisture away. Now, if you had at home, which I have got at home, but I left it at home and it's no good there, one of those anti-static bags, Joe, you could at this point just rub this over with an anti-static bag, which would be quicker than having to heat it. And what that will do is just remove any of the remaining moisture so that the next bit wouldn't be impacted by it. But we're just going to give it a quick dry like that. And then what I'm going to do is grab a couple of my lovely silhouette stamps here. So I'm going to use the vase. Oh, that's not the vase. Where's the vase gone? Have I just thrown the vase at myself? Oh, there it is. Dear me. So I've got that, and I'm going to use Noir Black. You could use any colour, but seeing as it's a true silhouette, I'm going to go with the black. Lots of light tapping to get a lovely even coverage of the ink. And what you're looking for is to not have any obvious gaps in your inking. And actually, the lighter you tap this, look, the more solid the coverage of ink. So even just by doing that, I get the more solid coverage of ink than pushing it on, because then I don't pick it back off again. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so I've got that on there. That's lovely. Stamp my vase. Oh. There we go. That's a lovely silhouette stamp of the vase there. And we'll put a little flower in the top, should we? We'll just do one. You could do a whole arrangement if you wanted to, but I'm just going to put one flower in and then pick this up. And you get that really lovely contrast of the silhouette. And for those of you who collect your silhouette stamps and you've got all of your lovely fairies and you know, animals and mystical animals and what have you, this is wonderful in terms of a technique to be able to make those really magical ethereal backgrounds and then put your silhouette stamps, which are those lovely sets of stamps that are on the shoujo, and then I'm going to heat emboss that vase. And because I've dried it off beforehand, my powder, because of the way I blended it and because I dried it, my powder is only sticking to that black silhouette. I've got a little bit round here. You would absolutely do that with an anti-static pad yourself at home. And now when I heat this, you'll get that beautiful glazed but glittered, because I'm using my glittered powder, contrast on top of that blended background.
It's amazing.
Look at that. It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? And when you apply that to a card, look, that's what it looks like. So you can build up your own arrangement, do your little special sentiment down there, a little bit of matting and layering, and you've got something really beautiful, impactful.
Gorgeous. Who was it? Robin saying that vegetable oil sometimes apparently works to get ink off your hands.
Does it
I guess
really?
it depends what sort of ink it is, yeah.
That's interesting. I'll have to try that.
Yeah. Well, massive thanks to Leann. It's
Thank
a pleasure, of course, to share the
you.
studio with you as always. We'll be back a bit later today together. So I'll see you back then. Take care. Now, don't go anywhere though. Bargains galore up next, because of course we are journeying into the craft vault.
It's filthy.
Could you hear me then? I need that embossing folder. Leann, I was trying to get my embossing folder from Leann. It's filthy apparently. Well, I'm going to have it. Thanks, Leann. I'll show you my filthy embossing folder, but at least you know what you're getting. I'm sure you'd sooner it be filthy and see all the lovely things that you can do with it than it being pristine. Now, for anyone that hasn't seen the craft vault before, the craft vault is, of course, where I bring you the very best deals that I could find. I've had a good old rummage, found bits that we don't have much left of, so it's why we've got clearance prices. Sometimes you'll find great prices as well on core items where I have just nagged and whinged and badgered people on your behalf. We've got a great craft vault for you today. Everything that you're going to see in the craft vault is over 50% off, which is just fantastic. Got a really great mix of bits in here as well. So the first one we're going to start with is Joyful Phrases. Great prices here, £2.49 to get these polymer stamps. So 20 stamps. You've got things in here like wishing you a big slice of happiness. I can see you've got a new home. Hello, thank you so much. Have a delicious day. Happy Father's Day. Get well soon. You're invited. Warm and cozy. Birthday wishes. There's loads in here, and they're all very versatile sentiment stamps. And you can use them as embellishing stamps as well. But I mean, to get all of those for £2.49 is incredible value for money. Make sure you get that one in your basket. If you want to know where these craft vault items are on our website as well, they are within the show you're watching. So it's within this special show. That's where you'll find. Click through into that show and you'll see all the craft vault items have been tagged with the craft vault logo. So you'll be able to find them very, very easily. Have you got someone special in your life? Well, this could be a great stamp set for you. So these are clear stamps, and this is someone special, and they're sort of really beautiful because what you've got is got some lovely borders within here. You've got some sentiments as well. You've got some background stamps as well, which you could use together. So a really, really great collection. £4.99 if you're in the UK, £6.47 if you're in the US. Again, that is a half price deal. Now, foil stamp die for you. This is the Element Provence, and it's just gorgeous. It really is, that wonderful intricate detailing that you've got on that. Of course, great to use with your Gemini foil press. Let me just show you the sort of thing you're going to be able to create with that. This is what you're going to be able to create. Look at this beautiful detailing across the top of there. That is what's come from this foil stamp die. And the thing with foiling is it just adds that real hint of luxury and class, I think, to any of your projects. Lots of you love your foil press. I know a lot of you will be stocking up on that as soon as it went live this morning. Again, it's a half price deal, $7.49 or $12.76. Now we've got a creator card for you, and I think these are fabulous because they really are a one-pass wonder. If you are using these to batch make, you're going to love it. Now the great thing is that we've separated the cutting edge, the outside cutting edge, from the die, but not just in one part but in two parts. Now let me show you what that means. It means it gives you the most amount of craftability possible, the most amount of options for using this, because you can cut the panel into a project without cutting anything out. Or what you can do is you can cut half out, or you can cut the whole thing out. So it means that you can use it across the edge. You can use it as edgeables for the tops of your cards. You can use it on gatefolds. You can use it on 10-fold cards as well. It gives you so many options. So for $7.49 to get that, it's fantastic value. $9.97 for that one if you are in the US. Now, a really lovely one I want to share with you. I'll just share with you the finished sample actually, because this is the bird branch die that we're looking at. So you can see there what it's cut. So it's cut that beautiful branch and all of the bird detail there as well. It's a really big die. Let me just spin it round for you so you can see just how big it is, because I think that's actually been trimmed down. And don't forget, you can play with that and manipulate it. You can cut bits out. Think about using the branch on its own or using the bird on its own as well. $7.49 or $9.97 gets you that one. You could be creating beautiful projects such as that. Now let's move on. We talked about embossing folders. This is a cut and emboss folder, and I think you're going to love this for scraps, maybe small scrapbook projects. If you're not making full scrapbook pages, this is great, because what it's going to do is it's going to cut and emboss that folder. Or what you can do is you can actually put it together in multiples if you want to. I love what's been done with this project here. So actually using it 3 times the cut and emboss section to give us something really, really gorgeous. So that's delicate frame Gemini cut and emboss folder, $3.49 or $3.47 if you're in the US for that one. Now, I know this next one has been so busy since the lovely Leann was using it for us. It is the Zen Garden. Oh, look at how mucky it is. It's the Zen Garden embossing folder that we've been using. Let me show you the board for it, because again, if you want to highlight and accent that with a little bit of gilding wax, then absolutely you can. You see, you get that lovely, lovely effect. This is using it inky as well. Let me just bring in the bits that Leann did, because let me show you the sort of thing. If you've gone for your ink pads this morning, think about using them in conjunction with this, because this is the kind of effect that you'll be able to get, and it is absolutely stunning. So Leann did a couple of different effects for us using those pigment ink pads this morning. The price on this is absolutely fabulous. £3.49 or $4.97 to get you that one. So don't miss out on that. Oh, floral teacups. Again, a really lovely one, because I think it's something that if you colour it, depending on the colourway you use, it really will change what kind of occasion you were going to give a project for. Because if you've got it here, so I mean, it could be an invitation, I think. It could be coloured up with maybe a craft card and some pastel cardstocks to make something sort of afternoon tea themed. You could maybe do it in monochrome and have it something that was a little bit more art deco. I think you've got a lot of different options of doing that. And it is almost a layering stamp. You can see the different ways in which the stamp is intended to be layered up here along the top to give you that finished project that you can see there. $4.99 for that one, or $3.97. It's actually cheaper in the US than it is in the UK, so a great time for US crafters to stock up on that one. Now, always so popular is our Poinsettia Perfection Christmas collections, and these are great for cutting a panel, so it's wonderful to add a festive border to all of your creations. This is a snow flurry border die. You can also cut a border into the card base or use it as an accent. It really is up to you. Again, the outside edge is removable, which gives you the most amount of versatility to use this within your products. $3.99 if you're in the UK for that, or $5.47 for that one if you're in the US. Now, the next one, I know it has been the most popular one in our craft vault for you this afternoon, and this is, oh, I'm just hearing it's very limited stock. If it's in your basket, I would say check it out immediately. If you're watching this back afterwards, I don't think it's going to be there. I'd say check the website just to be double sure if any bounce back. But this is the Ring Out Those Bells Gemini foil stamp elements die, and these are fantastic because what it means is you're going to be able to get this beautiful, beautiful foiling on your project. Now this is it foiled obviously, and then this is that negative or the waste that you could end up with, but there is no such thing as waste when you own a Gemini foil press. That's going to be great on a whole host of different projects. I would tell you what might be nice as well, if you wanted to foil panels of gift wrap or something like a brown paper, and maybe cut those out and add those to your project, would be another way of using this. A very versatile. I don't know how many of you are using this extra time that you have, this extra crafty time to get ahead on your Christmas crafting. So many of you have been emailing and speaking to us saying that normally every year you say you can do all your Christmas crafting, you make 4 or 5 cards, and then time gets away from you. So this is really a great chance for lots of you to get ahead on that Christmas crafting. Lots of you saying thank you so much for the live show and the classes. Yolanda is saying thank you, Joe and Leanne. Rosalind, I can see you here. She says, Joe and Leanne, love watching you this morning. Anne saying thank you so much. Carol saying thanks. Thanks for the inspiration, says Sandy as well. Lots of you as well getting your orders in and going for those craft vault items that we have. As I said, there is absolutely loads coming up for you this week. We're with you pretty much every day live at 11 a.m. And we have that best of show at 11 a.m. on Saturday as well. So you never need miss a thing. If you do miss anything, don't forget you can always catch up over on our website, which is the best place to watch and shop at the same time. crafterscompanion.wherever-you-are.co.uk if you're here in the UK, .com if you're in the US, or .eu if you are in the rest of Europe. Right, we are going to pop off and get some lunch, and we will see you back here on Crafters TV in a few hours. Take care.